Grizzlies and LNL taking each other on. Of course, both these teams that will have to go through contenders trials again to prove themselves for season 2. But I'm ZP here with Jason Kaplan. And Jason, despite the fact that these are some older names, we do have some changes on these teams.
Yes, do we?
We do-
You're asking me a question. I'm like, yeah, sure. Was
No,
there?
no, sorry. Well, I mean, one of the key things that LNL is coming in where you now have Dogman on the team, where Dogman was sort of a world traveler back in season 1, but he's one of the new additions there, coming in for dummy spot on LNL. Meanwhile, for the Grizzlies, we've had a few change-ups as well. But Jason,
Well,
we're going
I gotta ask
directly
you.
into Lijiang, so we don't even have that much time to talk about it.
Is their name last night leftovers or late night leftovers? Because I feel like it should be the second one of the two.
It is last night's leftovers.
Then they probably should show up on time next time for the match. Yeah, so we're going to Lijiang Tower. And just to kind of give you guys an overview, since I think something happened. I don't know. We're switching players really quickly. Is that we have set map pools depending on what kind of part of the tournament we're in. So, for instance, if it's a best of 3, it's limited to Lijiang Tower, Dorado, Kings Row, Hollywood, and Temple of Anubis. And when we get into the best of 5s, which we will have one today as our last game, the winner bracket final, it will be Lijiang Tower, Ilios, Dorado, Route 66, Hollywood, Temple of Anubis, and Kings Row. So a little bit of a switch up in maps, not having the new one just yet. But just to give you a general idea of what's going to be going on throughout today and tomorrow. Okay, Lijiang Tower, ZP.
Well, right now I'm just admiring the inner part of the control center, but no, let's talk about what we're seeing from these teams where we warned you guys that we're going to be seeing all sorts of different things from the meta, some of the old, some of the new, some of the we don't even know if this is a thing. But you take a look here, coming out from the side of the Grizzlies. Right now, they're going something a little bit more traditional, or they might have been, but no, it will be where they're going to not be wearing the 76, but it'll be Zapri and the Tracer, which he was very good at in the last contender season. Not something you see as much recently because of the influence of Brigida, but no team running Brigida here, so this is all over the place. Both teams are still changing up in the spot. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore.
I wouldn't imagine we're going to see much Brigida actually throughout these next 2 days. We'll see her, I think, on a couple certain maps, but also keep in mind, Sugar Free is the DPS player for LNL. And yet he's been subbed in for Nex, who's the off-tank player. So in my head, they want to run triple DPS through this. And with them having Dogman on Zen, Ajax on Lucio, I think they're going to be committing him to Lucio. And then just charge it in with these three dives, or these technically 4 dive heroes.
That's what you think, although it's a little bit weird because to a degree you want to wait for Sombra to get a good hack off, then go in. So the Sombra and Lucio are a little bit counterintuitive played together right now, the way teams are playing it. But we have Zapri on the side versus Enlar. Enlar and Zapri facing off, but Enlar has the 8 of that health pack though, so Zapri doesn't really want to take that fight in there at the moment. But with Enlar backing off, Zapri gonna back off as well. Both teams feeling each other out, neither team losing anyone here just yet.
As long as Dogman doesn't get one shot by Saipa, then he should be fine, or just get, bursted by Ding. He's gonna have that health pack to constantly heal away with. He won't have to worry about healing himself. That means also that Ajax doesn't have to worry about, but Ajax has gone down. Graceful gets the early pick with the help of Ding, so a good start for them, but they need to be able to take this point here. Dogman's gone down to the outside, and now D-Cut's finally there to help him out, but it's a little bit too late.
Saipe had a great angle there, was able to use Storm Arrows and just gun Dogman down. Gets the wins on the other end, and Saipe right now taking on all comers as he looks for Ajax on the other side. Grizzlies gonna get first control, and Saipe just slowly moving forward, looking for Lucio on the other end.
Trying to think, how do they break this with triple DPS? I mean, obviously the Sombras could be nice when you have the EMP. They're gonna have to set them in for different angles. Like, there's no way they can all come in through main, especially with a Winston who has no shield. They have no protection against the spam that Saipe can just throw out against them. Graceful's not close to his grab just yet, but I think Saipe might be able to recycle a Dragon Strike actually if he uses it early in this fight.
Yeah, and he's just going to look for the early Dragon Strike opportunity. Opens up the Storm Arrows, Winston at his back. Transcendence going to keep him alive. So you see Grizzlies going in and around the Transcendence. He gets decaught on the other end. Saipe right now just being the man to look at if you are LNL. And for now, Grizzlies holding strong.
I don't know if I actually like the composition LNL's using. I don't know how you feel about it. I mean, it's very hit or miss. If you don't have control of the point and you don't have the ability to have the EMP, then it's very difficult to retake it.
Well, like I said, I think it's a little bit counterproductive where you're running the Sombra and the Lucio. So ideally, the Lucio would want to speed in, but if you're waiting for a good hack to get the most use out of the Sombra, it's a little bit weird. But they will have the EMP up here for the next fight, but they need to back out and not get staggered.
Oh, Track, he gets shattered, gets taken down by Saipa there with the help of the Discord Orb. They're gonna at least delay for more time, which allows Graceful to build up towards his Graviton Surge, and technically all he's gonna need is potentially one. Get that damage boost onto Hanzo, you can burst through the damage that Transcendence can do, especially with the Pulse Bomb, which Zapri has gone in and unfortunately not landed. But the pressure's now on, 81% and climbing. LNL, they need to take this point back, and they have the ultimates to do it. They just need to time everything correctly.
It all comes down to Track. I'm looking at Track right now. Track is going to come in from the side. He needs to land a good EMP to set up Sugar Free. Track moving to the outskirts, drops the EMP. Not quite sure on the hit, but Decod got 2 on the other end. Primal raging his way right on through. And that's going to let Sugar Free save the blade, which is important where down 99 to 19, they need every bit of ult economy they can get.
Yeah, that was, I mean, obviously it was a must-win for them, so we did see 3 ultimates committed, but Dogman and Ajax keeping their respective support ultimates alive to survive the Graviton Dragon Strike combo, which they know is coming. Like, that's the whole point of this composition. If you're Grizzlies, you want to hit this grab, you want to hit the Dragon Strike, and they're prepared to counter it. I mean, they have 2 ultimates as well to do it, but the problem is they need to recycle ultimates time and time again. One fight won't win them the match.
Track got picked off early. This is going to put way more pressure on Sugar Free. Goes in with the barrier, blade out, gets ding immediately, but his team getting wrecked on the other side. Sugar Free still has to bring it back. It's nearly even right now, but LNL off the other side, off of the damage from Dragon Blade, will be able to maintain control.
Fortunate for Graceful, even though they got the kill to Track, like they got the early pick, right? His grab hit, I think, 2, and the Dragon Strike, actually I don't think it was the grab necessarily that was bad. It wasn't ideal, obviously, but Saipa, he hit a Dragon Strike onto 2 people while they had sound barriers, so it's not like he even killed anyone with that, and it allowed Dogman to save his Transcendence into this now fight. So we talked about recycling ultimates and making sure to have them in the fights coming on, and they're going to have what they need to delay this.
We have a swap here. Zapri's gone to the Brigitte, and this is the deal with both the Tracer and Genji that are coming out from LNL. LNL looking to dive in and dings down immediately. Enlar to the back. But the res is there. It's not necessarily over yet. Sugar Free gonna get stunned, but with the Transcendence coming in from Dogman, LNL should be able to be kept reasonably healthy here. Dueling Transcendences, though, LNL's gonna have to back out a bit. They've given up a degree of edge. 96% to 99. They still back out, and now I look to Pog, where Pog put this away for Grizzlies.
Zapper just needs to hit a shield bash. You hit one, you're going to be able to actually take that target down instantly because of the amount of time they're going to be stunned for. They can't really fall off the point here. Someone's got to keep touching. Overtime, almost finishing off. That could have been a major mistake, but that's going to be a giant Earth Shatter to hit 3.
And that's what they needed. They need that contribution from Pog. Meanwhile, you look at Zapri, getting real close to the rally. He's hacked in the moment, but hiding here on the point. Still a man advantage for the Grizzlies. And it's going to be up to Decod to come in here with the Primal Rage. Zapri gets Headline on the side. The Shield Bash catches him on the other end. Decod, though, comes in time with the Primal Rage, buying a bit of time, but it's not enough. He's bullied off the point, and the Grizzlies take the first round.
I think Grizzlies could be very, very happy with that, actually. I feel like they should have been able to win some of those last fights. It was a really good switch up to the Brigitte. It didn't really net them like a kill off the bat, but it also helped apply extra pressure, extra survivability for their tanks to deal with the poke that a Tracer and Genji does do. And Brigitte is so good against dive, like for a couple different reasons, if you guys haven't been able to learn about it yet. Obviously, she's really hard to kill 1v1 because she can heal herself. The rally she gives to her team, the armor, pretty much mitigates like the poke that a Winston, well, not even poke Winston does, but the damage Winston does, the poke that Tracer and Genji can do as well. So she's really good against like preventing these dives, and if you ever jump in, she shield bashes you and you can burst that target down. It's a good switch up, but I still feel like the comp that LNL were using was just really weird.
Well, speaking of switch ups here, we have a Brigitte for LNL, but not on the Grizzlies, as Zapri gets decaught immediately. It was Saipai that set up with good rockets from the side, and Saipai wasn't done yet. Throws Dogman off the side of that boop, and this is going to be a very quick take for the Grizzlies, because when you get that much contribution from Afara, it's very difficult to lose the fight.
And if you're a Zapper or a Paga here, you have to be very careful about how you dive with this composition, because Nalar's going to be sitting back towards Dogman. He's going to be sitting back to the target you want to kill, which is going to be the Zenyatta. And if he hits you with the shield bash, they're going to be able to survive and kill you, which I think they've been able to do already with Zapre falling.
And you see Saipai putting a lot of focus on the Brigitte, but Evo is down immediately. Saipai going to have to make amends here. They're down 2, looking for the Far v Far, not going to be able to finish it off. And now down 2, Grizzlies are going to have to just back out a bit, hope for the delay, because they've suffered just too much damage here early on. And Track puts the cherry on top. Saipai going to fall right into the abyss.
And Dings had to come back in just to stall. So they're just trying to, build up some extra percent here. Zapper does get a nice kill to Decod, but you just know there's no way they're actually going to take this point back. So again, a good re-engagement by LNO. They've got now this barrage. They also have a self-destruct to throw in. But there's also a major Valkyrie advantage for the side of Grizzlies. So I wonder if they're going to be able to use that appropriately. Obviously, it makes it a lot harder to kill, but you want to use it when you get on that point for that AoE healing.
What they'd love here, you see Zapri getting early progress on the point, going to draw a few people back. What he's really looking for is this early pulse bomb, hanging on to it while the rest of his team comes to the front. The Valkyrie has been used. It's going to keep both Saipe and Pog alive. Meanwhile, Zapri just hanging out here in the back, drawing the Winston away, throws the pulse bomb, not going to connect. Saipe, though, on the other side, got tracked. Zapri gets Enlar, who overextends, and the Grizzlies have effectively bisected the defense of LNL. They should be able to retake this point.
Saipe just saved the round for them right there. Because what we had was Graceful, Paga, and Eva were sitting on bridge waiting for the moment to go in because they knew there was going to be a barrage there. But because Saipe killed Track before he got the barrage off, it actually allowed the rest of the team to reinforce onto the point and take it back. Really well done. Now DCAR is switching back to Winston. And that's self-destruct to the
Ajax! Early self-destruct from the Grizzlies, just gonna buy them way more time. Wow.
I mean, that's the anti-air self-destruct. Like, it doesn't get cleaner than that. I mean, if it caught Track, it would have been nicer, but you're gonna be happy with that one because it buys you another 20 seconds of time.
And for that basically gives them a full team fight. Now this puts us fight in the must-win territory. Self-destruct coming in from Sugar Free, looking to do much of the same. Does not connect. Is going to be matched by a sound barrier by the Grizzlies. Evo, though, still going to fall early on. The dive is on coming in from LNL, but it's matched back and forth. Both teams down to support. LNL putting a heavy focus here on the point. Meanwhile, you see Saipe with the barrage ready on the outskirts, not quite able to get in. And in fact, it's going to be LNL bustling through, getting control of the point, but plenty of time right now for the Grizzlies to come back in.
This is where it's going to be really difficult for the retake. I think holding the point was much more viable for Grizzlies, but now retaking it's going to be very, very hard just because now you have the armor actually built up for their team. And because if you ever dive too aggressive, you get caught too deep, then Nalara will get that shield bash on you. I think they're going to have to hope that Saipe gets another kill on the track here because the barrages have still yet to be used out of either Pharah.
And Saipe was really debating to it. He was on the D.Va right now. The D.Va was looking, decides to hold it on right now. Meanwhile, D-Con on the other side, god dang, dives on in. And the Grizzlies aren't going to be able to do this. They need the back on reset if they want to have at least one more good fight.
Zapre, I don't know if you caught that, ZP, or Dashner. He kind of killed himself on accident.
That's unfortunate. That's not really what you're looking for in that situation.
No, especially at this crucial point, because now you're left to one fight. Zapre switched over to Widowmaker to help deal with Track in the air. If they actually killed Track here, Track would have held his barrage the entire map, or the entire point here on second. So let's see.
Saipe's looking through the window. Slows the barrage up. This could be the time to get Decon. Bumps him back and uses the barrage. Is he able to fish off? No, and in fact, they don't get on the point. Grizzlies unable to stay on the point. Of course, the self-destruct being a huge reason for that there. And that means we're going to a map number 3, or round number 3.
Please tell me you can see my camera right now, ZP.
That is some A-tier face palming, Jason. That's what I'm seeing from you right now.
Why? Why does that still happen?
It still happens at all levels of Overwatch competition. Sometimes the point is elusive. And that's why the third letter of the alphabet and the number 9 still continue to stay with us to this day.
B9?
You know what, Jason? We're going to have to look at your education. I know you had the joy of the American education system, but come on.
Going to night market now. Almost mirror comps. And by almost, I mean we have Pharahs, and that's pretty much about it, except you cancel the supports. We have the Hanzo for the side of Zapre, and we have Nalara on the Widowmaker. And the tanks are actually going to be different too, so Sugar Free and D-Card looking to create some distance for Nalara to actually use the Widowmaker, but I don't know how they're going to get through the damage of the shield out of Paga.
I'll tell you what, Enlar was able to pierce on through, got dinged. The problem is, though, is that with how well protected, they're not able to secure the kill. But hey, Track on the other end got Zapri. So LNL is picking apart the Grizzlies piece by piece right now, and they're well on their way to taking this first point. They certainly have the numerical advantages. Enlar gets the easy pick on the side on the side. Easy stuff here from LNL. They're going to take the first control.
I mean, I like the way they attacked it. I liked how they went around the backside of the point, so you limit a lot of the angles that Widowmaker can use. And if she will use an angle, it's going to be directly in front of you across the point, so you kind of use that to your advantage. But again, I don't necessarily like the Winston D.Va switch up. They're gonna be committing to it though to kind of mirror what they're up against. But they still have Zapper and the Hanzo versus Nalar and the Widowmaker, and that vision that Nalar's about to have is going to be so crucial to hold this point.
And they look towards Zapri. Zapri, very close to getting Dragon Strike up, trying to be anti-air Hanzo and failing right now. Not able to land the arrows onto far, but now, oh, take it down by Dogman. Dogman says hello and goodbye. LNL defending their turf. They're going to be sending the Grizzlies back once more.
I really got good credit to Lar. I mean, he's playing really smooth here. Almost as smooth as Soylent, one of our sponsors for this tournament. But he's been able to actually kind of read into the way that they've been attacking the point and then staying free. Like, they have the Winston, the D.Va, and Saipe who can obviously get to him, but they've been unable to deal with him. He hasn't died yet.
Enlar's been putting on a show, and we didn't see too much of Enlar back in Contender Season 1. He wasn't swapped in all that often, but we know he was more of a hit scan specialist, and he was brought in every now and then for Widow, and this seems to be more his speed right now, where things are going well, but DCOD too far out, take it down early, and LNL may have just given up this point for free. Enlar gets a little bit of an equalizer, but I apologize to you, Enlar. Your team is dead. Don't tell Enlar. He picks off 2. Still looking to have the miracle. If he got a 3rd, that actually might be enough. But no, doesn't get it.
I mean, they're still holding the point. They're still going to get another, like, 15% because of this. Sugar Free is trying to back out and stall. Ajax even invested his Valkyrie into this one, but he's been picked off. That's super unfortunate for him. And now they're coming back in. Even Transcend Speed pops to the force, and now the defending team, who's Grizzlies here, to use a lot of ultimates just to get the point in their hands.
And they wouldn't have had to invest all this here if not for from Enlar, where that fight was all but lost. Enlar goes, but wait, I can still do things. I can shoot a few people, and did enough to actually cause the Grizzlies to have to invest a lot more to that fight than they would have liked. And now, Jason, they have to be perfect from here on out.
I'm just waiting for the scream to come in here, ZP, just to see a Nalar or Zapre just go for a hook shot and just take the Widow out of the sky. Because you know it's going to be coming. It's going to be a battle for those at the beginning. Saipe, I like how aggressive he's being at the moment. He's pushed up. He's trying to rain down arrows on them because the vision he's given, he can obviously dodge away from Nalar and not take too much damage. And they're trying to push the choke, but that barrage, yeah, you're not going to miss those that easily.
Saipe might have sent himself to the move, but he's going to get brought back down to earth. Rez is in there, and look, if you use the barrage and you get the Winston outright and most of the damage on the D.Va, that's enough.
But they have a 30-second window now, right, for Rez, for Evo, so they actually can take advantage of this. Nalar's actually switched over to Tracer, so they're going to try to get very aggressive very quickly, going back to that dive composition with the Genji, with the Tracer, and D-Cut's still going to be on the Winston, so they're looking to close this distance. The thing is, as long as Zapper can stay alive and stay back, I don't know how they're going to kind of penetrate this defense.
It's going to be difficult. Saipe right now looking for track. 1 rocket, 2 rockets down. Ajax going to have to back out. We'll see if he can get the res, but this is where Saipe wants to be in the area and deny the resurrection attempt. Ajax going for it, and he gets it on the other side. Back and forth, but it's a Grizzlies still in firm control. Track takes a rocket, and down he goes. Zapri was there in the support, and the Grizzlies now looking to be more in firm control. It's going to be down to one last fight now for LNL.
I still would rather see a Reinhardt in this composition. Like, the Reinhardt against the shield it's so strong. You can just ignore the fog for the most part. You can hope that Dogman gets a 6 shot, or you hope that your Hanzo player or maybe Nalar on the Widowmaker could have hit a shot, but it's so hard for them to push in with Zapper already set up. Self-destruct can be thrown in by Graceful just to stall for some time. Not going to catch anyone, but the point is being captured so far by DCOD, but he's already on half health.
The problem is you have your Winston on flanking duty. That's not usually the greatest, but it got Zapri anyway. Zapri didn't realize that Winston was in the back, so the unconventional part of it catches him off guard, gets rid of the Widow threat, but now we commit on to the point. Ding is going to use the Transcendence and keep Grizzlies nice and healthy on the point, and so far they're winning it out. But there's the barrage in from Saipe. Not going to get too much done, but still the Grizzlies a little bit ahead. You have the X Factor and Enlar dashing in and out. Overtime's in progress. He can't get off the point for any reason, so his mobility a little bit limited here as the Grizzlies continue the cleanup on the side. Everyone's so low, but not enough. Graceful going to put the end point there. That's going to be the Grizzlies taking map number 1.
You know, you gotta give credit to Ding. You know, at first I was a Dong man, but I've slowly turned into a Ding man. That kill he got onto DCOD actually opened up the chance for them to hold that, because with the res being used onto him, it means you can't get a DPS up when it's such a crucial position to win that fight. So really well done, I'd say, all in all. Again, I don't know how I feel necessarily about this triple DPS kind of composition that they were trying to use for LNL. I know they're still experimenting. I know they've even said to me that they don't really play the meta. They play their style. So I'm not going to harsh on too much. I don't know how it necessarily worked out for them or how they feel it worked out for them. But obviously with them now being down a map, you can say it wasn't too successful. But I'm assuming it's something that they've been practicing.
Well, it's an interesting thing as commentators here, where normally we sort of have the vantage point of we know what has been successful, we know what hasn't been successful, and we can sort of look at a composition and be like, well, I don't know if you should run this because very clearly it has not worked out for you in the past. But because everything is so new right now, we can see different attempts and go, all right, well, we can speculate if it'll be effective or not, but we can't really render the judgments that we normally would because everything is so new with this particular meta, and it does make it exciting to watch, particularly on the commentary end, where it's just like, look, show us something new, show us something more
I
effective,
mean,
and
the game is moving into a state that actually is really nice in general, competitive wise, casting wise, and viewing wise. You're starting to see so many more diverse compositions, and I think as more and more heroes get released, you're going to see that continue to happen. And I think that's something that needs to be in the game. You know, that the whole old age of, you know, it's dive v dive, or if it's, you know, tank v tank kind of thing of those standard compositions, I think is slowly going by the wayside. So it's kind of nice to see this. But I think there's still eventually we'll find that point where it's just like, all right, we know what the best meta is on each map, and they're going to continue to play it until maybe one or two new heroes are released.
And that's fine, right? I mean, that is the cycle of games to begin with, where you have a few new heroes come out or a few balance changes, and everyone scrambles to go, what is the new king? And then maybe you do figure out what the new king is, but then you have something else come and shake things up, and you go through the process again. And so long as you get those updates on a timely basis, it's fine to be in that cycle over and over again. But Jason, it does look like we're going to be heading into Temple of Anubis next from the look of it. That will be the pick of LNL.
I'm trying to remember because I spectated 3 teams over the last few days, and I'm trying to remember which team did this really funky strat on Temple of Anubis. I'm sure when we get in and we get to see the teams like play their sides, if it's going to happen. But there's some tricky things I think we can come to see on Temple of Anubis, but it's going to be good. I actually can't wait to see what Grizzlies do on defense or on attack, most importantly, because they're playing more of like a standard. Wait, hold on, standard kind of setup. And then it was the side of LNL going crazy. And I think the pressure's more on Grizzlies than LNL to respond to the crazy kind of picks and then play around it.
I would agree, although I do think one thing that we're probably likely to see here, just because it has been a more dominant hero than I think we've seen in Overwatch history in the last few months, is that probably going to see Widow on both sides. And as I say
Oh
that,
yeah.
what do we see? Both teams clicking in Widow, where this makes me happy and sad at the same time, where, Jason, I know you've had the unfortunate pleasure of listening to me for a very long period of time,
Unfortunate.
but
Come on, don't sell yourself out like that. Not unfortunate. It's very fortunate.
okay, very forward. We'll go with it. But basically, I've always been the one saying that, okay, Widow is underused. There will come a time where people go, wait, a 300 damage headshot cannon is actually really effective in these places. And granted, there's a lot of meta changes I've gone to sort of facilitate that as well. But we have sort of hit the era of Widow, which makes you wonder, how long is it going to last? Is this, will there be a time where she gets nerfed down a little bit? But it feels like in the old cycle of things that have been going on, it's sort of, it is Widow's time.
I'm having flashbacks to last time we cast this map and the last season of the Invitational, and I think it was Buds playing Widowmaker at the time, and we talked about, oh, all he needs to really do is get 1 kill and then they can take the point, and then he got 4 straight. Wasn't that Buds? I remember we casted that. That was insane. And I mean, the thing is, I asked the teams, why is Widow being played a lot more often? Or not necessarily why it's being played more often, but they were saying, people are getting so damn good on Widow that they realize it's more viable to run. And it's a lot easier to run because you can consistently get a lot more of these shots.
This is where the Widow battle well, no, we said it's going to be in play, and instead we're going to be getting something very heavily dive-based out of the Grizzlies. They decide, screw it, we don't need a Widow. And now we get to look at Enlar and see if Enlar can punish him a bit as they roll in, where he's going to have a window of a few seconds here, Jason, to make this work.
This is going to be tough. So they're going to try to, I think, sneak in the Genji to the side so you can go for a different angle to Nalar and focus or funnel onto him. And I think that's, it's exactly what Snipe has been able to do. He's able to get around their backside. It's really hard, but Decon has the ability to pull them off with Halt to keep his people alive, to keep his sniper alive. And then Sugar Free on Junkrat is trying to lock down the 1v1 against Sapri on the Tracer. But that's going to be very difficult to do because they've lost all high ground control. Now Decon might be overwhelmed here as well as Nex. So we get hit from so many different angles, and Nalar needs to hit these shots.
And Lara's not hitting the shots, and that's the problem. He's getting pressure on all ends, has Bill Gap, but does finally get Saipe. Saipe turned his butt to Enlar, and that's not what you want to do. But the overall dive coming in from the Grizzlies is pretty effective here so far. They're going to have the spawn advantage. Ajax is down, and this is working out very well for the Grizzlies, where it started out a little bit slow, but now with respawn attrition coming in, they should be able to get a firm hold on this point.
Yeah, I don't think the comp that Illinois were using was bad, really. It's just I don't think their positioning was ready for a dive composition. Because if they ran like the main in the beginning to get you on high ground, then you have the Orisa, you have the Diva, then you have like the Widowmaker and Junkrat like opposite sides, then it's really hard to dismantle that dive, or sorry, to dismantle that position. But because they got just completely funneled on and attacked from so many different angles on that platform, there's nothing they can do to defend that. Like, they were going to be overwhelmed no matter what.
It was really good tactical play coming up from the offense, but speaking of tactics, we have swap. Yeah, we have swaps all in. We have quad take coming in from the Grizzlies, a change-up where we had Brigida for a split second on the defense. That's already swapped. And now the Grizzlies just looking to power on through, catching the defense off guard with the swap Sugar Free. About to fall down, he goes early on. And the Grizzlies now just finishing their plate. You saw Saipe and Zapri go across the right side. They're like, no, you don't get away from this fight. They have everyone still alive, and this offense is being methodical here, Jason, pushing their way on through. They're on the point. They have a tick.
And because they kept Evo on the Lucio, he's going to have Sombra in this fight, too. They even have the Coalescence up. Dig just switched, he just switched to Moira, and he has it up in this fight. Look at this, they're dismantling him. They can't keep anyone alive. They don't have the damage to deal with this quad tank setup and the healing they could do. There's a Sombra to come in as well. The res will come in onto Decod, but Decod's not going to have his Primal Rage. This is going to be so difficult to hold on to.
EMP out from Dogman. That's their one saving grace. But I don't know if they're going to have the fall through there, but here's Sugar Free out from the sky. Dragon Blade out, picks off one, and then the second before falling.
Oh my god!
It's not enough.
Paga. Oh my god, Paga should rename himself to Pagos. He shattered them off the point right when his EMP faded, and they could not touch. And that got on the point. Holy shit. That was so well done by him right there. That was such a clutch play.
Just when you think you're going to bring it back off an EMP, it's like, we have hope. Pog says, no, you actually don't. Here's a hammer. Have fun with this one. And that works out in the end for the offense. But I just want to say here, if people are curious about the chaos of this meta, please look towards those change-ups that happened on both teams after point A was taken, where you actually had the double swap coming in from the defense, where the defense decided, okay, we're going to run Brigida against the flankers of the offense. And then suddenly the offense decides, no, we're actually going to go quad tank. And you saw Brigida end up getting swapped again, where they're just like, well, we don't want to run this against that. So that is both teams paying very close attention to what the other side is running and swapping in turn. And then finally, the offense just had a very surgical attack there, where oftentimes Jason teams will dive onto a point with quad tank. They got two people low, and what did they do? You saw them just go off to the side and finish those kills, then move on forward. It was just good awareness from the offense overall.
What's so sick about that to me is like the fact teams were in the past really hesitant to switch heroes because like, oh, I have like 50%, I might as well just stay with it since it's going to the second point of a 2CP map. But they switched 5 characters around, 5 heroes, and they only kept one with the Lucio so they could speed back in. And that change alone, even though they sacrificed their own ultimates, it forced LNL to sacrifice their own ultimates because they had to switch heroes to respond to that. So like the mind games there was so well done, and they completely caught them off guard with that push in. That was perfect, honestly. That was really nice to see.
And that comes down to this idea that people think that Brigitte, even when she's not played, is still having like a very big effect on what people end up playing, where we did see her there in a moment, but in a sense, it forced a bunch of change-ups. But now we look to the defense for the Grizzlies. Zapri will be on Widow this time around, even though he wasn't on it on the attack. And he's looking for 2 things, either pickoffs or chunking tanks as they come in.
Okay. Right here, ZP, so they're sneaking Lara into the side. They're trying to limit the angles Zapri can play from. Oh my god, Decon gets shot out of the sky. But in the meantime, Sugar Free's coming in from the back as well. I think they might try to pincer onto Zapri. But because they've lost their Winston, I don't know if they can continue to push in. No, they have to back off.
And Zapri, on the defense there, you saw Sugar Free coming as Genji, and I'll tell you, one thing you don't really like as a Genji is fighting a Widow that's getting pocket by Mercy. Oh no, you left your Mercy at home! Don't do that! Sugar Free punishes Zapri for his arrogance there, and this could be the break LNL needed to get in here and make this their point, because the res isn't going to come out in time. Evo can't go back, and we'll see if they can take advantage.
Well, Ajax is going to get a res off. He actually almost gets taken out by Cypher, though. And yet, Nalar's able to come back in. That's going to be... Oh, no, the Dragon Strike was coming in, but Nalar finished him off in time, so he actually didn't get the actual cast of it. And that should now be Elinor taking the point. Zapper, though, gets on Ajax. That's about all he's going to get, though, and Grace is eventually going to fall. Now they need to pay attention. That's just like we saw in the last half of the map. What heroes are being switched, because they're going to need to respawn to ASAP, and you're most likely going to see them sitting in, I would imagine, spawn, preparing for that.
I don't think we're going to see too many swaps here from the offense this time around, just because they have so many ults about to come online, where I don't think you sacrifice the ults at this moment. It'd be interesting if they would, but Sugar Free got to stay on the blade.
And Grace got the self-destruct, so if they do commit, that self-destruct will basically just be a zoning self-destruct. Zapper on the Brigitte is going to look to shut down Sugar Free when he does go in. He has to protect his backline, protect his supports. Ding, that's 60% of his ultimate. And there he took down 1.
Gets 2. Sugar Free had a nice entry there, got directly onto the back line, and LNL going, oh, you guys were quick to take the point. Let us show you what we can do here as they roll in with equivalent speed. Transcendence keeps people alive, the blade set the table, and now 2 ticks, soon to be 3. It is last gasp coming in right now from the Grizzlies, and I don't think they can get out of their den at this point. It's 2.5 ticks. Every cleanup kill is going the way of LNL, and they just need a little bit more.
They need Dean to get Transcendence, but he's been pressured right now. It is finally coming up. He's going to keep Paga alive, so they're buying a lot more time. Gotta be careful how you play around the shield, son. Don't go out when you need to be healed. He's able to actually get away. The pulse bombs landed, but they're not getting any kills. A has been picked up by Saipa, but he's not allowed to get in. And Graceful's being forced away by Nalar at the same time. They have not... Oh, sorry, they have gotten 1 kill. They've got a crucial kill to dog, but Ajax is very low on HP. He needs to survive this somehow. He doesn't go down, and this still is not over.
No, the defense is bringing this back right now. They've gotten enough. Pog is going to do enough on the opposite end, and yeah, Enlar, you might still be in here, but there's not enough to deal with. You don't have enough teammates. Zapri, a little bit of crouching in your face, even before finishing the kill, just letting you know, by the way, you guys don't have this point yet.
Is that even allowed? Are they allowed to teabag?
They are in this tournament, and every tournament that I know of.
Good. I think it's a crucial point, a crucial strategy playing professionally.
I personally think if you can't work your legs in the middle of a match, why even play Overwatch?
Exactly. Sugar Free had 2 blades, by the way, we should keep in mind, like, off of that attack. He got the first one off in the beginning, then used the second one, and because that fight was so extended, you gotta be so careful, Paga. You do not want to fall down immediately here. Pulse bomb, not gonna land, and Zapre gonna be looking to control Decon in the back. He's able to separate the supports.
Sugar Free almost got out 2 HP, but Paga gonna finish him off in the end. And you have the extra commitment going in here where the offense says, actually, we're still involved. They transcend, they bring up Sugar Free. The threat isn't over yet. They still have a full 6 on this attack, and they're looking for Paga. Paga, though, gonna take refuge in the Blizzard. No one wants to fight him there. And the Blizzard from Saipe going to quite literally freeze out LNL. This attack is over.
Basically, like, cast a curse right there, which did ZP, or there's like karma right there. What he talked about in the first fight, like, oh, you guys took it fast, we'll show you how to take it faster. And then they got shut down on the actual attack, because now they only have 4 minutes left. They're already under the time bank of what Grizzlies do have. And they're going to be working up against a rally soon out of Zapre, which is going to be very kind of hard to deal with. Again, they're still running dive, but they're running dive into the Brigitte, which, I mean, obviously comps aren't 100% determining how the fights go, but when this gets off, the rally gets off, it's going to be impossible on that next attack to take it.
It's going to be a big shift for sure. And Jason, let me just say, I cast or curse people in normal life. Of course I'm going to do it on broadcast. Here comes Sugar Free, though. Into the back. Hazanyan. Oh, the save for Brigitte. Protecting on the opposite end. The rally came up mid-fight. There's the armor we were talking about. The defense, though, not have it yet, but Sugar Free just takes one to the head. Zapri ruining his day. And this is going to be a swap for Sugar Free. He's not going to stay on that hero anymore.
Sorry, I got to do this. I used to like sweets, but now I'm Sugar Free. Like, just playing Brigitte, like, in such a way.
Wait, okay, Sugar Free, you almost made a liar. He's like, I'm Genji. No, I'm not. Wait, he went back to spot. I'm not even sure Sugar Free knows if he's swapping or not. That's what. Are you swapping? Are you not swapping? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, he really doesn't know what he's doing. Just swapping 2 extra heroes, but Farah, the hero of the day.
Yeah, but that's why Saipe switched over to Hanzo to deal with the Farah. Like, the thing is, Farah in general is, like, not a terrible hero, especially against, like, Hanzo, as long as the Hanzo can't hit you in the air. But this skybox is so low at second point Temple of Anubis that you're so susceptible to a lot of extra damage in there. Even, like, some whip shots out of Zapre if he can hit you.
It's definitely a challenge coming in for the Farah. One that Sugar Free for now is going to look at. Graceful getting isolated off to the side, Discord or bottom, but they're not able to finish the DMAC. Would have been big if they did. LNL, though, going to take the fight directly into the point, trying to take advantage of the early poke. Ding, though, can transcend at any point, even if it starts getting a little bit hairy, but he doesn't do it in time to save Paga. And now he's going to transcend way later into the fight after LNL has gotten some room, so that's a bit of a misplay from Ding in the moment.
Decoy tried to dive in to separate Ding from his team, but Nalar wasn't there in time to actually get the kill. But he's actually been res back up, so he's looking to do it yet again.
Oh,
and what was it? What was the third letter of the alphabet?
Third letter is C. It is C.
And then what's
Jason.
5 plus 4?
5 plus 4, that is 9. That if you combine those two things, you get to this nebulous term C9. I think that's appropriate to what we just saw there, because why?
I think if you could answer that, then you probably can answer what's the point to life. Because again, like that should not be happening. I mean, obviously I can understand like communication gets very hectic, and from what I've heard of being in comms with the teams, they definitely get hectic. But you gotta keep that man on point, son. You gotta keep someone there.
Some people say the secret to life in the universe is number 42. I think it's a combination known as C9. But let's just point out one thing there, Jason, on the analysis end, is that you think about how that's set up. If Ding had just transcended earlier to keep Paga in the fight, that would have been very, very different. He ends up transcending anyways, where he goes, oh crap, we're actually losing. But the effect of it was so much less, and then it ends up leading to the weird situation where people aren't even on the point. So just using your ults in the right time and place and reading the fight that you're in is so incredibly important.
I mean, to be fair to Ding at least, like, he was constantly being locked into spawn by decods, so him being able to like recognize when he needs to use it is very like team dependent. Like they have to tell him when to use it because he can't see the situation, right? He can't see what's happening about where his teammates are. Obviously, you can see Paga was low, but it's a little difficult from there to actually play that position correctly.
All right, the Grizzlies here in the defense once more. Zappery had a rougher time on the Widow finding good targets because the offense was effective, but Sugar Free bopped immediately. Saipei caught him on the opposite end. I think he was more worried about the Widow than the Hanzo, and that can be a fatal mistake.
Yeah, they're doing what they did last time, so they're trying to get Nalar set up on the left side high ground. They're trying to get Sugar Free set up on the right side high ground to dash into Zapper at the same time. But Ding's sitting there guarding that position where previously it was Junkrat doing that. I think that was Saipei playing the Junkrat at that time. So they're trying to limit this. Ding's going to be in a 1v1 against Nalar. Nalar's already been forced back, so it allows Zapper to be free. As long as the front line now of Grizzlies does not die, Zapper should be able to pick up some kills, at least get some consistent damage in.
Zappery's getting pressured by the Genji and Winston on the upside, but gets Enlar with the in-your-face Widow kiss. But now, he's a little bit in trouble. Nope, he's Battle Widow. Battle Widow is keeping him alive, but the problem is the rest of the fight has gone very much against his team. And no matter what heroic Zappers get pulled here, it's likely not going to be enough. Sugar Free bounces on top, and that's going to be a point tank here for LNO.
Okay, so quickly before we get to the second point, what happened was that Ding was being attacked by Nalar. Evo had to back away to help heal him and Zapre, and when that happened is the front line had no healing. So they collapsed, and then obviously the back line's going to collapse thereafter. Really well done. Good job, good read by LNL there to punish that.
LNL going to have exactly a minute to come on through here. We do have the swap on the defense, though. Zappery's going to the Brigitte pretty early on. So LNL, they're just going to try and get ults up here. I think what they'd like is to delay this fight until they get Transcendence and then go in.
Zapper needs to stick a little bit closer to Ding, I think. Needs to be able to keep him up. Saipei. Yeah, that's what's going to happen if you're squishy against Brigitte. That's going to be the Blade coming in, though. The Shield Bash, I don't think it's going to be there because they also have a Transcendence to keep him alive. But Sugar Free gets 2. Can he get more than this? The Blade's now gone. He gets the 3rd.
The problem is they've lost so many people that might not be enough. Sugar Free with 4 kills here so far at the moment. He's not done yet. LNL goes, yeah, we actually don't need our Tracer. You can Shield Basher all you want. We got Sugar Free right now. It's a new Diet Cola in your house. And this is actually working out. Sugar Free's a madman. He's taking down so many people, and he's not even done yet. He's given new life to LNL here in the moment, and this is ridiculous. This should have been a lost fight for the offense, and Sugar Free still goes off. The self-destruct as the bang on top, and LNL might be leaving here with 4 points after all.
Zapper just came with the Doomfist. He does touch the point, but quickly gets finished off. Now Ding's down the Tracer, just trying to stall for some time. Graceful as well is going to fall. And they've been able to do it with, what, 1 minute of time, you said? Well done. Really well done by Sugar Free there.
That was actually just nutty. There's no other way to describe it. Of course, you see here on the replay, Sugar Free gets 3 immediately, and that's usually not enough. He goes, wait, I can do more. We could do way more. And it didn't even matter that Enlar got bopped with the wrong end of his shield to start out that fight. Huge.
That's always been the great thing about Genji, right? Is that you can have those plays happen. You can just completely pop off and win a fight when you probably shouldn't have been able to. And that's always that wild card factor of a Genji. The problem is they finished, which is always the good thing, but they had no time remaining. And it took the side of Grizzlies way less than that to finish the first time. They still have 5 minutes left to go. So they have to defend that second point and force it into overtime. If anything, obviously you want to hold on to third, or sorry, first. Like, technically it's third. But it's going to be tough, especially with how overwhelmingly fast the Grizzlies did the first time.
Definitely going to be a challenge. And here's the thing, even with 5:25 left here, certainly they can go through and even things up 4-4, but we've also seen really good defenses on Temple of Anubis in the past, so this isn't a sure thing for the Grizzlies by any stretch of the imagination, but the Grizzlies coming in the offense is going to be very dive-focused, a little bit of a blast from the past.
This looks familiar. I think I've seen this before for like 5 months. I mean, to be fair though, if it works, it works, and they need to have a big win here. Again, Zappy's been able to sneak in, but Dogman does execute him, hold the same position that Ding was before, and it's allowing Nalar to play on the other side as well. So they have to wait. They need that pincer move. They need that pressure from Zapray to get the healing off the front line, then to hope their front line can take them down. Or if they want to dive it, then hopefully take one of these snipers out.
And what we saw from Dogman there, that's what I like to call the Jonak factor, right? Where you get a Zenyatta that can win you a fight early on just off a pickoff, and the more you can do that, the better it's going to be. But here's the dive from the Grizzlies, immediately getting what they want. Widow and Junkrat down. Who's going to be your DPS now for the defense? The answer is, well, no one. Yeah, Dogman could get pickoff here and there, but it's not going to be enough, and the Grizzlies now are going to give themselves almost 5 full minutes to get in on point B.
Yeah, now we get to see, are they going to switch up again? They almost have a blade, they almost have a pulse bomb. This time they don't have any sense of completion for the sound bear for Evo, which is going to be a major downside to what they had before. But with them being this close to ults, I almost say just stick to it, try it once. You know you have a ton of time to work with anyways. Lara's going to be sitting on the Forest, which is back to Tracers, so again, they're going to be losing ult percents. It's just going to be a mirror, minus the Mercy.
Grizzlies on the setup right now, knowing that they have a lot of time. You don't see the Brigida swap up come in from LNL like we did on the other side. Meanwhile, Saipe, 98%, about to go into Blade, dashes in, immediately blades, and Dogman is his prey, looking for Ajax. Ajax can't get back in the spawn. Saipe with 3, and he goes with his own impression of Sugar Free here, and suddenly LNL is in a whole lot of trouble.
They on the first third, the next they're going to be able to touch the point. Decode's waiting off to the side to just continue the stall. They're getting so close though, and the focus they can have, because they have a Zenyatta, that Discord orb is just going to blow through tanks. It's on the right target, it's on the right man. They're not able to focus it down in time.
Grizzlies putting LNL in check right now. Now it's up to LNL to look for the miracle. They come out with the Mei and the Transcend from Dogman because of all the damage he did early. Got the early Transcend, able to buy some time, but Grizzlies, they back out. They barrier all 6 members. You see Sugar Free trying to cut through that sound. Blade out, got Paga, looking for a little bit more, and he gets 3. That actually might be enough for this defense to hold.
Yeah, it will be. They got the Mei in there to help pick up some more kills with Freezy. They will maintain it. I'm curious now because so they went to that last fight with Saipe and Zapper like almost having ultimates. Well, they're almost about to have them yet again here. I'm curious, do they save him and they go into the next fight, or do they try to win this outright? And the pulse bomb has been committed to Zapper, but Saipe's sitting on his blade. I think they want to back off, or maybe just wait for the reinforcements to get there.
That last kill in the Zapper, that should be the nail in the coffin. That's the time to back off and reset. And look, you still have 3 minutes, the possibility of finishing out with a little bit of time left. You only need 1 more tick. Why really risk it here, right? Why not back off and play this a little bit more intelligently?
Zapper's actually switched over to the Brigitte. So Next has been able to do the same thing. He switched from Diva over to her. So they're trying to like outstun each other. It's gonna be so hard for Saipe to make this blade work now because he's got against the Winston, he's against the Zen, a Lucio who can boop you away. Sorry, I'm reading the wrong side for some reason. They don't have a Lucio to boop him away, but they still have the stun potential, which is gonna be very difficult for like the Genji with the blade to go in on.
Saipe holding on to the blade. It was big the first time around. It could be big this time as well. The Grizzlies just hanging back. And Ajax as well. That's why Saipe's going to go in. Ajax down. Dogman out of it. Both supports are out of the fight immediately. The lifeline for LNL just severed by the blade of Saipe in the moment. And now the Grizzlies once more put LNL in the hot seat. And I don't know if they're going to be able to come back from this time.
The armor they have, it's doing so much work. It's allowing Ding to play more aggressive. There's Dogman coming in. There's Sugar Free as well, and he dies with his blade being unsheathed. He loses that ultimate, and they sure as hell needed that to hold on to this point. There's still 1:50 left to go, ZP.
Sugar Free went to the well one last time, but it was dry. The Grizzlies get the cleanup they need, and now they'll have 1:47 left for an attack that only needs to get the first tick on Anubis.
Oh man, this is shaping up to be a pretty sick series between the two. I I actually couldn't tell you who's going to win this point or this map at this rate because, yes, Grizzlies did have a first point take both first times they truly attacked. But it's up to, I guess, LNL to switch things up. Like, do they want to continue to run the Widow and the Hans in the beginning? Do they want to run the Junkrat and the Widow? Or do they want to go what they're currently sitting on of the dive comp with Dogman on Sombra?
It's a little bit weird here where I can see how the Sombra can work out here, right? If they get an early pickoff somehow, and then they get an EMP for the second fight, that'd be very big. But Sombra comps still have the inherent downside of having a little bit of a weaker first fight, and realistically, there's not too much to this other than the first fight, so it'll be interesting to see how this works out, but I feel like this could be hard to hold off Grizzlies for a full minute 47, where, again, they don't need the normal full capture here, they just need a tick, and that does change how much you have to play around the point as a defense.
Well, I mean, the game plan of the defense should be holding this Mega Room, the high Mega Room with the hack onto it, right? Like, that's ideally what they should be going for, and ideally, if you're attacking, you kind of go into the opposing high ground from them, or you just go straight to the point, but they don't have a composition set up for that. They need, like, an Orisa to make that work. I don't know, this could be difficult, because there's going to be no Discord Orb on the side of LNL either, so bursting down a tank is going to be very difficult, not to mention with Lara already going down, they don't have a res. There's a man advantage down for Grizzlies. Next, able to turn this around, able to get one himself, so both traces have fallen.
It's going to be a tracerless battle here, but think about what this means for Dogman. Dogman has to carry more of the load here for LNL, and hey, they got Ding with Sugar Free. Now, you can see Dogman come around the other side. Evo is out of it, and LNL, they might have danced the dance of death correctly here. They're going to get the hack, Grizzly's going to get demeched, and now they need one more fight, but look at that snipe from afar. Zapri onto the Widowmaker, gets Dogman out, and that means they're probably not going to be seeing an EMP for the final fight.
Well, now, so what this Widow does, it forces them, what they want to defend the high ground Mega with the hack onto it, is they force them to get aggressive, because if they don't, Zapper gets free shots off, and he's been hitting a lot of these. As long as he can deal with Sugar Free in the one-on-one when he gets chased with Evo there to protect him, or the reflect comes in, he gets a major kill, there's only 40 seconds left to go, the Reds can be committed to this. This is a bad side for Grizzlies.
Grizzlies looking to get back in. Sugar Free off the deflect, made them burn the res effectively on nothing. Endlar working off the side, gets the D-Mac. Dogman's in as well. Dogman builds up the EMP. He can let it loose here at any moment. It doesn't even have to. That's how decisively LNL won that fight, by just coming at them at all sides. 20 seconds left, and Dogman's ready to turn out the lights.
Look at the armor they have too. They have this stack of armor, then they have Soundbear to use at the same time. That's going to be so overwhelmingly in favor of them, of the amount of HP they can use to work with, or effective HP they can use to work with. They switch things up with the Roadhog now for Zapper. They've got to push in. They've got Ding and Moira who's built up 51%. They got Evo coming with the Lucio. They're touching the points, at least have that, and they've gotten one kill, but the Blade of Sugar Free is only netting him one, and he's not going to get more than that.
The EMP doesn't quite get as much as they would like, but it's still likely to be enough. The flank from Sugar Free gonna save them from the hog in the moment. Everyone working with the extra rally HP. And LNL, they've defended for the minute 47. They throw the Grizzlies back, and this map here, Jason, is gonna be a draw.
Whew, so that's some rough times for Grizzly, knowing that they were so close. A third is all they needed to close out the series 2-0. And advance through into the next round of the tournament. But really well done by LNL to hold on. Like, Sugar Free only got one kill, but hey, the one kill is enough. Nalar did get picked off, remember, very early on in that round. In that attack. But a great play by Nex to get that kill onto, I think it was Zapper on the Tracer, just kept it equal and gave him another chance.
One thing just on the player-focused stories here, which I think is really worth noting, is that Sugar Free was with bye week early on in Season 1 and eventually decided, okay, I'm going to leave the team for whatever reasons that may have been involved. But for the time that we saw him play, he was definitely one of the more promising prospects that we could look at in that particular competition. So seeing him now with LNL, I do think it's an upgrade to LNL versus where they were in the last season. So watching him come out and have some of the crazy plays he's had where, by the way, it's not easy to play Genji in this meta if no one has figured that out yet. So seeing Sugar Free still have moments like that, that's very encouraging for him as a player.
Yeah, it's very difficult just because of the Brigitte, and not to mention the double snipers you have to really watch out for. Obviously the Hanzo can be very annoying at the same time. No longer scatter, but he can shoot those storm arrows extremely quickly. And it looks like we'll be doing a coin flip now for the next choice. And the choice was LNL choosing heads. And it was heads. So that means Elna's get to choose the next map. If you've noticed, by the way, ZP, we've actually like generally stayed away from the payload maps. We've had Lijiang Tower twice. We've had King's Row once, but that wasn't really much of King's Row. And then it was Temple of Anubis just now. So I think teams are a little bit hesitant to go to like your Hollywoods or Dorados.
It's interesting to see that sort of change over time, where, of course, we go way back in the day where there was a time where with tournaments you could sort of freely choose your map mode more frequently. We would see nothing but your hybrid maps and your escort maps, and teams would go, nah, we don't really want to go to Assault, or even Control at times was sort of the black sheep, but things have evolved over time. I think whether it be the fact that tournaments have forced Assault maps more often or not, teams have sort of warmed up to them over time for, hey, look, we know how to play this map. We're going to play to our strengths. We don't really care if, even if it wouldn't be our favorite mode, in some cases, we have an advantage. So we're going to force the other team to play on it. And just, I don't know, watching it evolve over time has been very interesting because you get to see old norms get challenged as time goes on.
I think it's also, I think teams are more inclined to play skirmishy maps, not maps based off an objective that moves, because then you're really kind of forced into a certain hand. Like on King's Row, if you don't play Ryan Zarya, then you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. So I think they like those maps where you can kind of just fight head to head and then just win off of more skill than more compositions. Where I think these hybrid maps and these payload maps are going to be more based around like your understanding of the meta, or your understanding of what's good against what. Basically rock, paper, scissors almost at some points. So yeah, I think that's kind of where teams are straying away from at the moment. When the meta does calm down a little bit and there's more of set rules, I think that's when we'll see them come back. Just to reiterate, by the way, Grizzlies is up 1-0. So if Grizzlies win this map, then they won the match. But if LNO wins, then we're going to be doing a best of 3 on a random cuff as our tiebreaker, because then it'll be 1 apiece between the two.
It is sort of the unique thing Overwatch has, where you can have your best of 3 series that ends up having 4 maps. And the way I see it, this actually evens us out a little bit on time, actually probably more so with the delay. But our first set of the day, of course, was very one-sided, where if you blinked, you would have missed Envision putting the goats out to pasture. But in this case, this is very close between LNL and the Grizzlies, where our first control map went to 3. Our assault map ends up going to a draw. And King's Row, this is the map where teams can take each other to the distance over and over again, where having a score of something like 6-5, it has happened in the past. And with how these teams are playing, that could be where we're heading right now.
Bringing back bad memories, ZP. Bringing back really bad memories. This is not Hollywood that I have to cast like 5-6 times in a row.
Okay, that wasn't because the teams are playing each other close. That was because complexity struck again. Let's be clear.
Yeah, and speaking of complexity, we get to see JKW a little bit later on, as he's actually back. Not playing tank, though, anymore. He's playing support.
Interesting. That's also another storyline over time that you've had as well, where you have a player where, maybe the player starts as DPS, ends up as support, starts as a support. Actually, I think for the most part, it's players starting as DPS and then deciding, I guess I have to tank or support now. We don't have too many stories.
Who are you playing DPS and playing support? Like at some point, I think I've even casted some of his matches he was playing support. But yeah, I don't think Kaiser's ever gonna switch away from playing tank. At least God hope not. He never does that. But yeah, you're right.
You know what? I'm ready for the new world of Kaiser DPS. Can we have the Emperor on DPS? Are we good enough to even live in that world? Are we worthy of that world?
No.
I appreciate the honesty. But now, let's look to the defense here, and this is looking a little bit more standard as far as King's Row goes, if there is any form of standard. You have the Junkrat coming out here for LNL, but it's going to be backed up by that new and improved Hanzo. The Widow.
Well, remember, when we did see Envision play this map, they did run the Widow and the Hanzo on defense. But Nalar is going to be playing the Junkrat this time, so expecting more of a skirmishy fight. Obviously, it should be coming, considering they're most likely going to be up against a Reinhardt Zarya combo. I think it's not bad. It's gonna make it very hard to defend once they get on point, because they can just attack from high ground over and over again. But where's Decon set up? So he was just, it's a standard spot. Sorry, he wasn't there. I thought he was gonna preemptively shoot a shield out, because they can burst through the shield with the Hanzo and the Widow.
Decod going to be focused on keeping up that shield, and the key here is just watching your angles, right? You don't want to give a Widow or Hanzo a free pick because things quickly go against you if you do. LNL, for now, holding on the back. You see the Grizzlies, though, on the opposite end, rotating through Hotel. I think they're going to heal up, get full, and then immediately go onto the point and force LNL the challenge, and that's what you see. They immediately dive onto the point here. They get control. They're about to get a tick for free, and Track got taken down. Ding, got him on the opposite end. Both Hanzos out of the fight. And now, it's a tick and a half to the offense, and it's up to LNL to make a move.
But Dogman got a major kill in a Saipe onto the Hanzo, so it actually prevented them from allowing to go from behind for the damage. The problem is that then Dogman died to Evo right after that, and the res came back through, so they get the full cap on the first attack technically, and looks like they won't switch up anything, with only 35% to grab, and that's kind of what you're gonna expect. The days of seeing Zaryas get a grab on first point attack is almost long gone now with people playing Orisa so much, and Grizzlys not really able to get the damage down, which is not really possible with the shield.
Now, of course, if you do see a Zarya do that, then you know that Zarya had a really, really good attack. But you're very right here, where even though Graceful's charged up, 42%, not likely to have a grab in this next fight unless it's towards the very end. Both teams, though, looking to show down here in the middle of King's Row. The defense just moving on, and Enlar almost getting chunked early on by that sniper pressure coming in from the offense. And both teams just trading up poke right now. Neither team going in too deep here just yet. And there's the Dragon. That's going to split them up. Decod's going to fall, no longer able to be supported. And the Dragon was sated.
Yeah, it's actually... The composition I think that they went from the defending side was more based around, like, the third point. Because the thing is, like, the Brigitte is really nice, especially when they don't run one against you, because it allows your Reinhardt to be more aggressive, because he doesn't get punished. Again, the current meta now, if there's a Brigitte on the enemy team, you can't charge. You can hardly flame strike anymore because of the amount of damage you do take. But Decod just switched from the Orisa over to Reinhardt, so it's not like he would have had that anyways. They're gonna get aggressive.
Early Valkyrie out here. They want to commit on the second point. The grab in the backline picks up 4. The Transcend going to keep most of them alive and healthy. Graceful gets slept on the other end, so the defense off the Transcend might be dealing with this okay, but they have to get on the point. 0.76 meters. The Dragon from afar moving on in, but the Grizzlies hold firm. They're staying on the point, and they have a Dragon of their own. And this Dragon forcing the defense back. That's going to be enough for the Grizzlies to take this point.
Grizzlies got really lucky there too. All they had to do, like when the grab came in, was kill next, and then they had the capture because the rest of them were stuck completely away from the point. But really well done. But just kind of stalling. Paga had a really good Earth Shatter yet again. He caught about 2 or 3 in the back, and then he blocked Decods right after, which was the most important part, stopping them because they were all grouped up. They could have easily all been knocked down, and they completely walked all over. Just a good read. Paga is Poggers.
Paga is Poggers. I like how you're driving this narrative because it makes sense and builds his brand at the same time. He's already at 63% to the next
He paid me for this.
Yeah, I mean, well, we're going to have to check your bank records later because who knows, Jason. But Zabri got tracked early on, 6 on 5 to the Grizzlies. Now you're going to see Paga go, yeah, actually, I'm going to go a little bit deeper. 92%, one more swing away, has the Earth Shatter, and this would be a great time to drop the hammer, and does! Through the payload, knocks down everyone, and smushes Ana to smithereens on the opposite end. Paga is Poggers.
It caught him on the fire strike too. The most important part. It's not like he did something super crazy. He just read the fire strike and just shot at the exact perfect time. Nalar has his graviton surge though. Graceful's at 88%. They need to hit a massive grab. They don't really have any support to his. No, they do have Ding, but he hasn't used Transcendence. He wasn't there in time. They've lost 2.
Defense coming back into it here. Paga going to take a little bit of nap in on the moment. Not able to stay alive, and the defense off of that nano boost, able to get back onto the point. It's not quite over yet, though. 2 meters away. Zapri's keeping the fight a little bit more in contest, but he still has to wait for those respawns to come back in.
I think LNO also found a weakness in the composition they're running with the Brigitte out of next. They switched him over to Diva. Like, thing is, they didn't have enough shield break to really be super effective. Like, obviously you have the Brigitte to kind of bypass that by you stunning with a shield bash and earth shattering, but they had no break with the Zarya and with the Widow as long as Nalar just didn't have enough energy charged up. Graviton gonna commit a graceful earth shatter, just catch 1, but 1 is it, and that's gonna be the Dragon Strike coming across hitting 2.
And meanwhile, while the grab Dragon Strike was going on, Zapri's been tearing people apart from the skies. Good positioning from Zapri, picks up 1, gets another. Dogman back to the kennel, and that's going to be the Grizzlies setting a very quick time here on King's Row.
People in chat are ruining this, by the way. Saying Casper is crazy. Or Skaldet. I don't even know what Skaldet means. Apparently it's like Danish or something. Poggers is way better. Chat, please.
Yeah,
Really
but you're just jealous because you can't use his first name because you're not cool with him like half of Chad is, Jason.
That is actually very true. I'm
I'm
trying to think
sorry.
if there's anyone that I'm cool with that's playing right now. Maybe Graceful Martin.
Might be. I mean, can you use
Maybe
his first
Dogman?
name because you know him like that?
Well, I looked it up, so I know of his name like that.
You just need to just message him on Discord off the cuff right now and be like, just call him by his first name. See if he's okay with it. If he tells you no, then, well, I'm sorry, you're just not cool enough.
If he says no, then screw him. I don't need him in my life. I'm a strong, independent man. I got you. I can call you Andrew, right? Because I know you like
call
that.
me Andrew.
See?
In fact, you can
I
call
got
me
someone.
Andy.
I don't need you, Graceful.
Jason, you can call me Andy. Little known fact. Like, I actually prefer Andy over Andrew, but Andrew is just my business form.
Okay. You know, I'm gonna start calling you Andy. All right, I'm gonna do that. All right. Back to the game though. 40 seconds to go. On the defending side for Grizzlies, we've got the Hanzo and the Widowmaker, and they got their Risa and the Diva. So that's pretty standard what we've seen throughout today on Kings Row in general. On the attack, I don't imagine Ajax is gonna be sticking on Pharah because they're probably gonna be running the Mercy themselves. But I think they're gonna be almost mirroring, except Decod will realistically play the Winston or switch to Reinhardt.
See what Decod ends up going on here. I agree. I think it'd be more likely to swaps. He's here in the last one is like, do I really want to step out? Do I want to play the scientist? And he's doing it. This is reality, as far as we know now.
So
we
I
do
guess
have the
he's
late
trying
swap
to-
on the Mercy.
I guess he's trying to protect. I don't know, he's trying to get aggressive and kind of focus Zapre and Saipe onto him, or maybe just kind of push one of the snipers while the other one's doing damage, and then hope the rest of the team can deal with that. Actually, no, Track and Nora both switched as well, so they've gone straight back to full dive, except they're running the Mercy instead of a Lucio.
Meanwhile, that puts a lot of pressure here on Zapri, where if you're going to be up against the full dive, you're going to be protected. You got to land the shot. Zapri, not quite able to get it here just yet. The offense moved around the right side, but Saipei got Ajax on the other end. Now you don't have that Mercy healing. Decod ends up moving in, and it's successful. They get Paga off of that dive in. Zapri still unable to really get the shots he's needed, and this dive from the offense now starting to pay some dividends.
They got to res him, but the problem is they still have Nalarso alive. Decod will finally be finished off by Ding. It's just those two supports keep each other alive. Dogman's able to take down Ding though, and that should be the point being picked up here for the attacking side of LNL. Now the switch-ups come in. Paga switch over to Reinhardt, Graceful over to Zarya. Zapre and Saipe, I would imagine, might want to stick to this. But yeah, I was just going to say, Brigitte obviously would do very well against this composition.
Brigitte has really been Zapri's pocket pick this entire time, where he might start on DPS, but if you're going to see him have any form of pick where he's like, okay, I'm going to change it up, it's going to be Brigitte.
So Paga is not even close to a shatter yet. I would imagine Saipe is going to use his Dragon Strike once they funnel together to create an opportunity to make an attack happen, but next could be really impactful. He's able to eat it, so you have to kind of watch where it's coming from, and there we go. Through the wall, so there's no chance. Transcendence has been forced out, and now they just hit the go button. They just push straight in. Some Ding's going to respawn as well at the same time, though.
Decod just ends up completely isolated there. No way for his team to support him because of the Dragon. And the Grizzlies gonna engage even harder here. The Valkyrie up in the sky. Saipe gonna have to get away from the self-destruct. Fly to the wall and just barely gonna live. The Grizzlies dealing with the self-destruct pretty well. And now it's just about cleanup here where you look at Graceful all charged up and ready to go. Gonna melt down Ajax. Ajax, welcome to the microwave. Another Dragon, but Track in the backline still doing it up the blade. And it's the dive from Diva, Winston, and Genji that tears it wide open.
It's fine though. I think they're gonna be happy with that because they baited up the blade and they have a graviton. Graceful built that up in one fight only. Downside, Saipe just used his second Dragon Strike in that fight, so he's not gonna out for a combo. But if you allow Paga to swing, knowing there's no Reinhardt in the enemy team, and you hit this grab on multiple targets, this should be a one fight. They have no Transcendence. They had to use it in the beginning of the last fight. This still could be a good hold for Grizzlies. There's the graviton coming in. It catches only under one.
Graviton comes out, but that still might be enough. Track is taken down immediately. It provides enough of a distraction that the Grizzlies can easily move back out onto the point. And that's okay. That is enough for the situation. It forces a full reset out of the offense.
Chat's fully tilting me now because they're now using Andy as crazy. I hate them so much. The grab is very opportunistic too. It was kind of like, well, Nex is desuited, so maybe I should just go in and get one to stabilize, and it worked out. Saipe's trying to build towards his next Dragon Strike. Dika goes in really deep here with the Primal Rage. And it's actually keeping a lot of people alive.
Edlar's on the cleanup. Let's look at Edlar. He picks off 2, almost 3 before the fight is over. And now see if Track can finish it. Look at Paga. Paga's like, please, God, help me. In the corner of the shield. No hope was coming in. and Track off the outskirts. It's Genji versus Tracer, 4 HP and down. But LNL still on the payload. Dogman can invest in Transcend here if necessary, but for now, he's DPS man as he gets Graceful down in the moment.
Paga used his shatter in that fight too at the end, right as he died, so he wasted it completely. That pulse bomb's gonna land. It forces the Transcendence on a Dogman, and you know what? They're gonna be happy. If Graceful can get back here in time, he has his own Graviton. The Dragon Strike coming across the payload zones them away, and they have not captured the second point. A self-destruct gonna come in now out of next to buy a little bit of time, but Paga blocks it out completely. Graceful's here, son, and Graceful's got a grab ready to go.
Oh, and in the back, it's Decod. Ding out of the fight. Paga no longer has the support. A late Sapphire in for the defense. The Grizzlies never say die. And wait. He the ground time from Graceful. Is he going to use it? Doesn't want to donate to Diva. No, it falls before he can even pull the trigger. LNL finally going to push that payload right over the edge.
If that sound barrier came in like a split second earlier, it might have kept enough people alive to make this Graviton work. And again, the Dragon Strike Graviton combos, the Graviton strikes, they've been non-existent. Syphe's been using them as quickly as he's been getting them, which is really unfortunate for them to not be able to use the combo together. But then again, you're kind of staggering the two.
Oh.
It's forcing out some Transcendence out of Dogma. I think that's a second now forced out just for the Dragon Strike, not the combo.
When your Hanzo and Widowmaker pop off at the exact same time. Well, guess what? That's a fight where not only do you win, you get to save what you have. Graceful is all ready to send the grab his way, but now he gets to hold it for the next fight.
And it's about time now for Sepa to get his own combo. Dogman, though, he's going to have a Transcendence. And there's no mercy on the side of Grizzlies, so there's no way they can burst through the Transcendence with that Dragon Strike. They do have Evo and Ana, and we haven't really talked about Ana, but she was changed recently where you can shoot through full HP targets to heal still, like someone else behind him that's not full.
They decide to engage early. They blow the Valkyrie really early. Now they have to use the Transcend just to survive through the Dragons, but Zafri got decaught before he's able to get away. The defense just playing the offense like a fiddle right now. And with those early 3 kills, now they can just roll back up. It's time for the offense to reset once more, and the Grizzlies, they're buying themselves an awful lot of time.
I think that was actually, the timing of that grab, even though it didn't get any kills, it bought time for Ding to build up a Transcendence, and because Dogman got charged into the enemy team and killed off, like they already had a man advantage. So now Track's going to try to blade into this fight when Ding's already going to be able to respond with his own Trance. They're going to try to force it as soon as they can, and Ding has to play careful here. He doesn't have a mercy to keep him alive. He's got to play very far back so he doesn't get bursted.
And Track is waiting for that. He's going to blade immediately, and there goes Ding. Ding goes, yeah, I'm going to Transcend. He gets swept for good measure when everything's going wrong, but he's still got Evo. Evo went a little bit too far away from the Transcend, ends up falling. LNL finding a way through this fight, potentially, but they haven't dealt with Saipe, and Saipe is just easily cleaning up on the top end.
Yeah, he did some serious work there, honestly. I wish you could see like a quick damage recap of what he did in that fight. Because the kills he did get on the high ground and him taking high ground away from them just gave him that control back. But look at this again. Switch up coming in. Decod on Ryan. Next on Zarya. Track on Hanzo. So he swapped quite a bit yet again here to try to make things a little bit more equal on this front. But Pog is about to have his sure shatter. Graceful again is about to have another Graviton Surge. And Saipe for like the 5th or 6th time this game has another Dragon Strike.
And this is a really good angle for the Dragon. He should let it go here in just a moment. It's going to bisect the team at the worst and get multiple kills at the best.
Yeah, Dogman has Transcendence, so yeah, it would definitely be smart to use it now, but I think they assume that Dogman doesn't have it, but oh no! He's used it now! This is so bad for them!
Guess what? This Dragon's gonna be out for dinner here in just a moment. There's the Graviton, and here comes the Dragon chopping his way through the buffet. Saipe with 4! Oh my goodness, the wait for dinner pays off.
Hey, at least the dinner wasn't sugar-free. Hey! No, that was perfect, like, because Dogman got forced into that trance. They knew they had a 1 fight. Now 40 seconds left. Like they're pretty much, you can say any hopes of them finishing in any normal time allotted is impossible. So now they have to look into overtime, looking into basically defending the first point for that first third for 3 minutes of time. That's not going to be easy at all.
This is looking like the Grizzlies have the series exactly where they want it, because as you mentioned, to get through here with any time remaining, pretty unlikely. Next, in fire here. Oh, Decod drops the hammer, knocks down 3. Here comes LNL, but are they going to be able to get there in time? 17 seconds remaining. They get the clean wipe they need, but the payload still is so far to go.
Ding has Trance, he's gonna be able to stall out. All you do is just stall. You don't need to win this half right now. Just stall on payload, don't let them cross the line. With any time remaining, Ding comes in, switches a couple of heroes to get there in time. Maybe help get some speed. Zapper gets a major kill on the line though, he has 1 HP left, but he does do it. Ding is the only one left on the payload team. Help this man out. Why is he still allowed to be alive here? He gets a bow from Graceful, he's still there. What is happening?
Oh my goodness, Ding getting dings of his own in on the moment. And LNL, it's overtime. They're well on their way to pushing this through. but they're up against some stark realities here. Even if they're able to push this through here, they don't get another attack, and now they have to defend for 3 straight minutes. If they get this through, as Doomfist has joined the battle, Saipe.
And he's gone out of the battle. Yeah, he joins the battle for the 1 second, and he's dead. Alright, so honestly, really well done. I can't believe Ding survived that long on the payload. He should have died like 10 seconds ago. But they do now force it into a second round, at least for the sides of LNL. The problem is, again, 3 minutes of time to defend that first third, that one tick onto the first point. They did it on Lijiang Tower, or not Lijiang Tower, in Temple of Anubis. But can they do it here with even more time allotted on arguably a harder point to defend? Actually, no. Actually, no. No, this isn't harder than Temple of Anubis 1. I take that back.
I don't know, actually. I think that's a hard one, because I feel like I've seen more Temple of Anubis first point holds than I've seen first point holds like King's Row. But part of that also might be is that Temple of Anubis, I think people actually put in practice more so looking for the first point holds than you see on King. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I would say either way, it's an unlikely prospect, especially given that you're looking at just one tick here on King's Row.
Yeah. We've seen teams do it. Like, don't get me wrong, we've seen teams finish this map like twice over, but we've also seen teams hold on to this first point, period. Like, thinking back to the days of Melty Esports, defending this first point, or even Internet Hulk and Co. defending this first point here with Symmetra. But it's going to be very unlikely for LNL, but let's see. Quad tank? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nope, not happening. Not with the lineup that LNL do have.
They're just going to muscle on through. They know that all they need is one tick, and they're just like, okay, why don't we get a whole bunch of beefy bodies and just run straight to the point? Maybe they take a quick siesta in the hotel, and no, not even that. They're just going directly onto the point, looking for an early pickup. They don't need much here, Jason.
They're just so tanky. There's so much AoE healing. The thing is, the fight has to be dragged out, or there has to be a good disengagement on the defending side to not allow the Moira to constantly, or to waste out her energy, waste out that ability for her to heal.
Decon needs to stay alive. The fact that you went down here, who's going to stay in front of them and actually be a tanky presence? I guess Brigitte goes, I will be your shield and get knocked around and die. Farewell, Nex. You're out of the fight. And now Grizzlies taking firm control. No one's going to dislodge these beefy bodies at this point. And it's going to be the Grizzlies taking the series 2-0.
Yeah, well done. I mean, I was actually kind of surprised. Like, Grizzlies, I know they're not a bad team. Like, I know all the players on the team, like, as in by name. But LNL, I mean, you know, being able to, you know, chime in with scrims with them, I thought it was going to be, like... Actually, the thing is, it was a close match. It definitely was. But I was still surprised to see that Grizzlies, you know, overtook them.
I would say overall, if I'm looking at trends here, is that even though LNL ended up falling here, LNL definitely looked like a stronger team than what we saw from the very end of the last season of Contenders. So I'm kind of looking at this from two fronts here, but one of the fronts is sort of both of these teams are going to be Contenders trials. They did not do well enough in the last Contender season to have an auto buy in the season 2, but both of these teams are playing well enough that I think they have very good chances of maintaining their position Contenders as they look forward to the future.
Yeah, I think so. And I think being able to play a tournament like this and being able to see what other teams can throw at you in like a high pressure situation always helps. I believe here, ZP, we're going to be looking at a couple of replays from the last match, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, look at that. Dashner, you sexy, sexy Canadian man.
That's right. Dashner is running production for us, and one of the new things is working with ways of getting replays in midway through, and we're just seeing some of the highlights here from the course of it. Of course, one thing you'll notice is that we had a lot of variation in the course of this battle, but man, Sugar Freeze Blade, if there was a play of the match, it would be this right here.
Yeah, that was like 5 kills in the end. He got 3 from Blade, then like 2 thereafter. That was like the determining factor for them to even potentially throw it into a tie potential in the match. Again, D-God, the shatter there to just open up the final push. But again, the final push didn't work out for them, as we saw. They did complete the map, but they couldn't hold that first point. And that means we're going into, well, a break shortly, but we have another match coming up. And we're going to get to see the team who surprised the hell out of us last time, ZP, No Clout, go up against probably one of the strongest teams in the tournament of NRG.
And NRG, of course, there have been a team that has been in reconstruction to a degree. They lost their key Tracer player in Damon towards the end, and they've been looking at how to fill that void. And I just want to say, Jason, only you could elevate a man from a fish to a deity. That's what you just did with Decon. Congratulations.
Oh, I got it. Because cod is a fish.
Exactly. All right, and on that note of comedy or lack thereof, we are going to be taking a break. When we come back, No Clap versus NRG.